What's up, guys? Another episode of Off the Post, and Danielle knows the most. So we're just going to be going over a few of some off-season things we want to talk about today and see how everyone's been doing. As you know, we've all been a little busy, but we still try to keep in touch. Let's go and talk to Jen first. How you been doing, Jen?
I've been doing good. Been a lot of bad crap going on, but just dealing with it as best we can.
Good. And Danielle?
It's been quite a week. Not only like whatever the other stuff, if you follow me on Twitter, you're probably annoyed by my yelling politics, but I also had a tooth extracted on Monday, so that was fun. Got a whole bunch of stuff going on, so it's just not been a fun couple weeks.
Oh, I had a tooth pulled. It was terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Don't recommend. Take care of your teeth, boys and girls. Take care of them.
And that's the first thing we'll tell you that you should actually listen to today. So let's continue on and see. We're just going to go over a few quick things tonight, though. We're going to talk a little bit about subsidized Canadian players and just a little bit of W League, because we know how much Jen loves W League. And then a rumor of minimum salary increase. Ooh, that's an interesting topic I want to. Let's start first with the Canadian subsidized players, and we'll start with you, Jen. Thoughts, comments, concerns?
So let me pull up the list if I can find it. Let's see. Boston, just go through the list real quick. Boston got Alicia Chapman. They traded for her in the offseason. Chicago, nothing. FCKC got Des Scott back. Houston kept Janine Becky and added Nichelle Prince. Oh, God. I had it and then I lost it.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, my computer is running really slow, so I apologize.
Not a problem. Yeah, I'm looking at it too, though, so I'll wait for you.
Oh, come on, load. Oh, I do not.
And people always talk about me. I'm going to take this moment while she's over there struggling to talk about how people always talk about my computer and how I need to get a new one. This thing has asked me such a good time, so I really appreciate this old thing for holding on there. So anyway, Jen, how are you doing anyway?
It's being a pain in the butt. Okay,
we can talk about.
Here we go. Carolina got Sabrina D'Angelo. Portland got Christine Sinclair. Orlando went down to no allocations. Seattle got Diana Matheson. Sky Blue got added Caitlin Sheridan, who they just drafted, and Washington Spirit has Stephanie LeBay and Shalina Zadorsky returning. So we had two new allocations, Nichelle Prince for Orlando and Caitlin Sheridan for Sky Blue. And Orlando had Caitlin Kyle and Josie Belanger. Both have been dropped from the allocation status. We're just going to go with that. Not really any surprises. Maybe a slight eyebrow raise at Nichelle Prince getting that status, but I guess Canada maybe thought we should at least have 10 players to make it look somewhat respectable. So, and those were pretty much the two best options. But yeah, no, Chapman, Becky, Scott, basically it was status quo except for adding 2 and dropping 2. So it was a little bit surprising at first that Belanger wasn't renamed as a subsidized player, but then found out that she had basically told Orlando that she wasn't going to be playing in the league this year. So Orlando, they might not have been disappointed, but I think they kind of understood that and let both her and Caitlin Kyle go. So again, I'm not terribly surprised by any of the picks.
All right. And Danielle, thoughts on FC Kansas City and Desiree Scott?
Well, glad to see Des back. We love her. She's a fan favorite, and she's definitely a difference maker in the midfield. You could tell difference when she wasn't playing in the midfield for us last season versus games she was at. So we're excited to have her back. But like Jen was saying, not a lot of real surprise. I think the one big thing was the fact that Kaylin Kyle isn't coming back, and it's a green card issue, so she would have taken that international spot. So you could tell she was pretty disappointed, but I get it. Why a sudden extra international slot when you don't need it? So, I mean, for her sake, get that green card taken care of, and maybe come back to the league if she wants to. And with Sky Blue, I think that was really great allocation. They drafted. They got her in the third round, I think, in the draft, and then they don't have to pay for her. She's allocated, or subsidized. So I think, we were talking a couple weeks ago about the drafts, who won it. I think that really brought up Sky Blue's drafting. I think that was good job, Sky Blue.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Yeah, no, I can't wait to see actually too what Sky Blue does, because I thought it was like a good play by them. It's really just like the drafting overall. Like last year, I thought they did a pretty good job. So I can't wait to see how she fits into the team. So good job, Sky Blue, as Danielle, who knows the most, says all the time. So let's talk about some W League, guys. A little bit of W League. Jen, this is a passion of yours, as you were telling me a little bit earlier. Share some thoughts on this league so far.
Yeah, basically, I have been following this league pretty hardcore for the past 4 seasons. It gets a little difficult because it's about a 13 to 16 hour time difference. So a lot of these games start at midnight, 1, 2, 3 in the morning at my time, which is not ideal because I work on the weekend. So it's usually not an option to stay up that late. Because I would not be able to get up in the morning. I am old and I cannot do it all-nighters anymore. But this past night was the end of the last round of the regular season. So the regular season is done. We have our final teams winning their third premiership, the equivalent to the NWSL Shield for those who don't follow the W League. Is Canberra United, who snuck in on the last day to take it. They won the league. Second is Perth Glory. Third is Sydney FC. And sneaking into the 4th spot is Melbourne City. So those are the top 4 playoff teams. Newcastle Jets, once again, missing out on a final spot. They get so close, and then it just doesn't happen for them. So a little disappointed not to see them get in. Adelaide United finished 6th. Brisbane Roar dropped down to 7th. Why? Western Sydney Wanderers finished 8th. And for the 2nd consecutive season, the Melbourne Victory are the proud winners of the Wooden Spoon. They have finished 9th. So, yeah, that was the regular season. Next week is the 2 semifinals. First up is Perth Glory hosting Sydney FC on February 4th, maybe February 3rd, depending on what time zone you live in. And then on February 5th or February 4th, again, depending on time zone, Canberra United will be hosting Melbourne City. So, yeah, that should be a pretty interesting semifinal. Hopefully, ESPN3 is going to air the games like they have been, so we can watch it here in the States. So, kind of looking forward to that. Don't want to go too in depth today. Maybe our next show will have a more in depth discussion on it. So, just wanted to kind of catch everybody up on, what's happened now that the regular season is wrapped up. So, if you can, if they have them, tune into the semifinals and watch it, because this is a really, really fun league. A lot of U.S. players going over from the NWSL to play there in the off season. So odds are somebody on your NWSL team has headed down there. So give it a watch. Catch up on some old games on YouTube. They are on YouTube. You can find them. Just search for it. So. Can't wait for the semifinals. Kind of disappointed Sydney dropped the ball at the end because they are a W League team, but kind of have no one to blame for themselves because they played like crap last game. So just wanted to catch everybody up on that.
Thank you, Jen. We do appreciate that. Off the Post now sponsoring W League, as it sounds like from Jen's last comment. Also, Jimmy John's, since I got an oatmeal cookie from them and it was delicious. All right, guys, let's jump into some final little topic of the night. It is rumors of minimum salary increase, and I put perfect because I was like, oh, this is a perfect thing to talk about. We'll start with you first, Danielle. Thoughts, comments, concerns on this issue?
I think it's a really good step. I know that, so it's going from, I believe, 7,500 to, wait, what am I trying to say? 15, right?
Yes.
It's going to 15. So, I mean, it's still pretty low. And I know that there's been some people, some former league players kind of criticize, say it's still too low, which it is. But I think it's a really good first step. I think it's smart. I think that going too big, too fast, might not be the smartest idea. I think this league, while it's strong, I think it's still vulnerable. So, I mean, to double, it's a really good first step. And I think it can only go up from here. 15 doesn't sound a lot, but just for, I mean, half a year, it's about, on track for 30. So, if you think about it, it's not as terrible as it could be. I'm not articulating my point very well. Anyways, I do appreciate that they are making the efforts to make it better, but taking a very smart approach. And then if next season they do the same thing, maybe raise it a little more, I think it's a really, I think it's good. It's good. My brain's mush, but you guys got my point. So
yeah, we did. We picked apart from it and got what you meant. So good job.
So I took 2 minutes to be like, yay, good stuff. But yes, good stuff.
No, that was good, Daniel. Thank you. Good. Now, Jim,
I am on two sides. I have the fangirl heart part of me that wants these players to get paid basically whatever they want, but I know that's not realistic. I mean, we all know they can't just blow out with these massive salaries because that's kind of what killed the WSA, spending money on massive salaries. I mean, you saw some of the salary numbers. I mean, if you read Hope's book, she mentioned that her rookie year she was being offered $30,000. That's double what this minimum salary is going to increase to, and that's over double what it was in 2016. So, for everybody who's disappointed that it's saying, oh, that's still too low, they should be paying more. But you got to think about it. Again, we saw two previous professional leagues fail because they were doing things like spending money, not putting teams in the right markets, doing a lot of things that cause these leagues to fail.
Right.
I think as much as we criticize the NWSL leadership and staff in front of and all that stuff, I think they do realize that they need to take it slow. And we have been seeing the slow, gradual growth of the league that maybe is not going as fast as a lot of us would want, but it's something that it has to be at that slow pace to make this league stick around. Because if this league doesn't stick around, I think those fears are kind of going away, but they are still always going to be there for a little bit, especially for those of us who watch those two leagues fail. They know that if they want this league to stick around, they have to play it slow. And I think they're playing it perfectly. So, like I said, I kind of wish it would have gone maybe a little bit higher, a little bit faster. But I understand the reality is that they have to do it at this slow pace. And, we've seen some comments from some players saying it's still not enough. Yeah, but I mean, and I go back to this point all the time. You think MLS players were making a lot of money when that league first started?
Right.
Hell no. I mean, I've seen some of those salary numbers. I mean, even as far back as 10 years ago, I saw some players that were top stars making 12, 13, some $1,000 around that area. So they had their salary issues. We saw with the league like Major League Baseball, which is hugely popular. You think those players were making a tremendous amount of money? No. They were, fighting for the same things. They were basically trying to make a living. A lot of them had to get jobs in the off season because what they were getting paid for to play baseball wasn't enough. They had to make more. So the fact that a league that is established and a huge moneymaker now, they started out with those kind of struggles. It's not as bad a look for the NWSL as I think some people think it is, because I think some people are thinking too big and not focusing too much on what the reality of the situation is. So again, still would like to see it get better, maybe a little bit faster, but it is getting there, and that is a positive sign.
No. And another thing too that you kind of reminded me is the fact that you want to take it slow and do it smart, and we have 2 new owners in the league this year too, and so if you were just to go up really fast too, who says that's not going to scare off these new owners or new potential owners as well? I mean, doubling the salary is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
It's still really low, but that's double, and it's a good first step. And the league, has expanded their front office. What was it, from 3 to 9? I want to say.
They said 3 to 6, and they have plans to double it again to 12.
Okay, so it's very methodical and thought out.
Yeah.
None of us have ever said that the man behind the curtain was a genius. When do we ever see him? But I think, I think they are kind of smarter than we gave them credit for, and I do have the best interest of the league in mind. So, yeah, sorry to interrupt you, DJ. I just thought of another point.
No, you're fine. That was a perfect point, because I was just going to say Jen basically wrapped to my point where it's one of those things where the fan, yes, they deserve it, but you just want to make sure the business side of it is set up so that it's not going to end up hurting the league in the long term. So that's you said it perfectly, Jen. So I agree with both of you, and that was good. So great, guys. That was a great little show, right? Yay.
Yeah. Yay.
Oh, I did want to ask you guys, did you have in the last couple of weeks, there's been some moves that have been made, some high profile, some not. Did you guys have any moves that you saw that maybe surprised you that it happened, or surprised what one team got, or players leaving, anything like that?
Well,
I saw one. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. I keep doing that to you.
It's okay.
If anyone's been paying attention, Matheson leaving the Spirit wasn't a surprise. I didn't think Seattle was going to get her. So that one, Seattle picking her up, but seems like a total Harvey move. So that was kind of my not surprise one.
Well, I guess we're going to stick with Seattle, because I was about to say I was paying more attention to Australia with the Larissa Crummer to Seattle. I want to see what she actually does there. It's like, it looks probably a Seattle move, Seattle type player, and see how she fits in. So,
yeah, Sydney's not Sydney. I still got Wliga on the brain. Seattle's basically turning into Seattle and Melbourne City are like basically becoming partners, signing all the same players. So I'm not surprised. I think probably the one that kind of hurt me the most was sending Alana Kennedy to Orlando. I honestly think the pride got the better of the deal on that one, because Sam Whitteman's not a bad player, but I think Alana Kennedy is better. She's got more experience. She was so great for the Flash last season. It just kind of came as a bit of a surprise, although Charlie Nemo did say something about freeing up an international spot. Don't really see where that's coming from, because they apparently already had an open international spot, because they had like 5, I think, unless excuse me, unless some deal got made or they had to give one back or whatever. But apparently intimated they're going to use it. So knowing knowing the way they're going, it's probably going to be another forward. So, but going back to that trade, I think while it sucks losing Kennedy and it kind of hurt me a little bit, I think what Whitman gives the courage is maybe a little depth at the outside back position, because we've all said that was the one thing where they were kind of lacking last season. Having to play forwards back there at times on both sides was not ideal. So I think them getting a player that has a little bit more experience there is probably what they were going for. So kind of disappointed to see Kennedy go, but hopefully Whitman can maybe provide something that was a little bit lacking. So that was my big one.
Nice. Very good.
There's his Aussies.
Gotta love those Aussies, eh?
Tommy loves them.
Well, I guess this is DJ Redcap with another episode of Off the Post, with the host who loves post, and Danielle, who knows the most, and Jen, she a part-time host. So we'll see you guys next time, and everyone take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Why can't I hit this button here?